All right, welcome back to another Centennial Tidbit, where today I'm talking with Marilyn Wellan of the American Rose Society and their involvement with the unknown soldiers that are buried on the East Plaza of the Memorial Amphitheater in Arlington National Cemetery, as well as their involvement in the Never Forget Garden Project and the Centennial going up in 2021. Marilyn, how did the American Rose Society become involved in the Centennial and the Never Forget Garden Project?
The American Rose Society is very excited to participate in the Centennial commemoration. We are an historic organization. We were founded in 1892 in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. We'll soon be celebrating our 130th continuous years. We moved our headquarters to Shreveport, Louisiana almost 50 years ago. And there we have our headquarters for the organization, as well as a beautiful rose garden, which is named America's Rose Garden. An inquiry came to the society about the name of the rose that was used in the bouquet when the unknown soldier was designated in France in 1921. We sent that inquiry, put it in the hands of the American Rose Society president, who is Robert Martin. He is a historian himself, and he did quite a bit of research and created a story about the naming of the rose. But we found in going through the inquiry that the Centennial was a wonderful idea and a wonderful thing to do, and found that we thought it was a good fit for our mission as a society. Our mission is to increase the number of people who grow roses, who enjoy learning about the joys of growing roses, and educational programming and preservation of roses. White rose is the flower of the Society of the Honor Guard. And also, the rose is our national floral emblem. It was designated by President Ronald Reagan by a resolution that he signed in 1986. So it's very special that we are the organization of the America's national flower.
See by the image behind you that you might be in a garden. Can you tell me a little bit about that?
A major part of the Centennial commemoration is the creation of Never Forget gardens around the country. Every city, every hamlet, every town, every individual, every park, and every cemetery is invited to create their own Never Forget garden to commemorate the Centennial, and to continue to be there for your patriotic holidays, for memorials, and just for a good feeling that we are remembering those heroes who fought for us and have served us, sometimes with the biggest sacrifice of all. Our Never Forget garden at the American Rose Society and the American Rose Center is the image behind me that you see. And when faced with the opportunity to install a Never Forget garden, we knew we had these 3 flagpoles on the property, and they became the perfect site for us to install the American flag. We have a second flag which says honor and remember, and we have a third flag that represents the 5 branches of the military service. And we will, in 2021, we will be hanging the flag of the Society of the Honor Guard in their Centennial project. The garden consists of several beds, and they were already planted in some roses and other in bulbs and some other plants. In the fall, we will be adding a rose that is a red rose named Veterans Honor, a very wonderful rose, and that will help us tell the story of the unknown soldier and tell the story of our Never Forget garden. We also want to add white roses, which is the theme of the unknown soldier. We'll also be adding other plants that speak to matters of the heart, such as roses and flowers that speak of remembrance, of courage, of love, and peace, and family, and valor and strength. All of those flowers, such as flowers and plants. For example, rosemary says remembrance, and roses say love. So those plants will be a part of our Never Forget garden, as well as we've identified some trees that also have symbolic meaning, and they are considered a part of our Never Forget garden. Never Forget gardens are not just for 2021. We think Never Forget gardens should be forever, because we can continue to go to those gardens and remember our heroes. One aspect of these Never Forget gardens that I'm recommending, and I certainly did this for the America's Rose Garden as well as my home garden, and that is to provide a bench. I think having a seat in the garden gives a place, it draws you in, it gives you a place to pause and commemorate and remember, and just be in the Never Forget garden.
So I know that you've been very instrumental in getting the word out. And from what I understand, we've got about 30 plus gardens all over the United States. What kind of response are you getting on your efforts to encourage others to plant Never Forget gardens?
I think the response has been good. I know that every time I speak about it, people are very excited. They're very enthusiastic about the idea, and a lot say, I'm going home to make my own garden. We're certainly asking American Rose Society members, our thousands of members across the country, to consider in creating a Never Forget garden. Tomb Guards are doing all of their gardens, and that's very encouraging and very exciting. The Daughters and the Sons of the American Revolution are part of our commemorative centennial, and memorial parks, cemeteries, and gardens across the land are a part. And that it covers, we've just recently reviewed the locations of these gardens, and they're almost every state. We hope to have every state represented, of course. We also have spread our effort to France. The American Rosarians have a great bond, special bond with the French people. Their haberdasers and their nurseries from the 1700s through today have created some incredibly wonderful roses that are heritage roses that are lasting, and we have that to share with them, including the great roses by the Empress Josephine Bonaparte. She collected roses and has been given credit for preserving roses that would have been lost today if we did not have her collection at Malmaison. We also have the special bond with the French people in that we shared 2 world wars together. So the memorial parks and cemeteries throughout France, and especially in the area around Normandy, they will be participating in the ceremonies in October 2021. A new rose was created for the centennial. It will be named Never Forget, and it will be introduced in 2021. It was created by a French nurseryman, rosarian named Fabien Duché, and his French rose nursery, Roserie Duché, has joined in the centennial in that very special way, producing this beautiful white rose, Never Forget.
So Marilyn, you know, my background is an infantryman. I am not very good at roses, and fall and winter are coming up here on the West Coast. So how can I prepare my Never Forget garden for the change of weather?
We're so glad fall is here, and we are enjoying good weather now, but sometimes winter can be pretty harsh. Now, I am in the South, so winters are not so harsh for my garden and America's Rose Garden, which is just nearby as well. but we still prepare for winter by mulching our beds and especially our roses. Um, and that can be a mulch of hardwood mulch or pine straw if that's what's available to you. And there are other products that may be from other trees that depending on what grows in your area. And we want to make sure that the roses are hydrated through the winter. They don't like to dry out, and winter can be drying. The cold and the winds of winter can dry out the bushes, and it makes it hard for them to maintain their strength through the winter. Now in the north, I have friends who grow roses all over this country, and some of them prepare boxes to cover their bushes. They may be built of plywood or styrofoam or something to just protect that rose in the winter. They can also be heavily mulched, even covered over, trimmed a bit so the wind doesn't whip the canes and tear the roots loose. And then if it's practical, if your rose is growing in a pot, just bring it in the garage. And that's a good way to make it through the winter. The American Rose Society, of course, we're all about helping people grow roses, and there is assistance on our website to deal with winter, preparation for winter and all seasons, actually.
Well, Marilyn, you're a wealth of information, and I appreciate you telling us about the website, especially with winter coming up and where I can go to get some good pointers. Are there any other links out there that you can share that can help answer questions about roses and about the Never Forget Garden?
Yes, of course, American Rose Society website with the incredibly easy address, rose.org. Has a wealth of information and articles and videos on growing roses, arranging with roses, all manner of rose care and information on roses. Also, the tombguard.org website has a whole section on the Centennial. And within that section on the Centennial, the American Rose Society has prepared a series of articles and informational pages that will help you, number one, think about your garden and design it, as well as choose the plants. And then we also have a list of recommended roses, roses that we recommend because they've been tried and true and tested. So we hope those pages will help you, and you'll also find addresses for people within the American Rose Society and the Tomb Guard that you can go to for questions.
Well, perfect, Marilyn. Thank you so much for talking to us today about the American Rose Society and what you're doing with the Never Forget Garden Project. I look forward to when they start to bloom next year and the pictures that I'm sure you're going to send.
We surely will be sharing with you. Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Thank you.